What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 43 of our Liverpool FC playthrough here in Football Manager 2016. Hopefully you guys are good. Today I have for you a live commentary away from home against Chelsea. It's going to be the second of a few really tough away games we have to start the season. We have played a few games since the last episode, so I guess we'll look immediately at them. We did also make a few transfers for you guys who might be wondering about that following last episode, which if you did miss, definitely go check it out. Anyway, first game following on from Man City last episode was a 1-1 draw against Villa. Really disappointing. They had one shot on target. It went in. I was a bit worried. 1 point off the first two games. That is just not the start to the season you want. I guess I'm kind of relieved in a way that Mbolo was able to grab the equaliser for us because it didn't come until the last 10 minutes. Mbolo, a player who will definitely be featuring in the side this year. And yeah, he's just a very, very good striker for us. We actually had a bid on deadline day of £40 million for him, which I rejected from Monaco. I do see him as a valuable player long term. Anyway, the next result in the league was a win, and it was our first of the season. We won 2-0 against Brentford. And look at the man who scored. Dybala grabbing two for us, the Argentine. Making his mark really since transferring to us, of course, filling in big boots in the form of Lacazette. And as you can see, so far for us, 3 goals in 4 league games, a pretty decent return, a 7.32 average rating for him. I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, into the next game, another clean sheet, another win in the league, this time Dybala grabbing 1, Daniel Sturridge also grabbing 2. Good to see us not concede. Derby County, not a particularly strong team in the division, but it was a good, convincing result nevertheless. And those 2 goals for Sturridge were his first 2 of the season. Anyway, the last result in this little run of results was actually pretty disappointing. It was a 2-1 defeat against Fenerbahce away in the Champions League, our opening Champions League group game. Worth knowing, Dybala did score. Looking at our group in this Champions League, it's Benfica, Fenerbahce and Basel. Certainly not the hardest group by any means, and I hope that we can get out of the kind of group stage here, and we really should be, but a loss in our first game certainly isn't ideal. Anyway, I did mention we made some transfers, so I guess we will look at them. You can see actually looking here, I did have a few transfer bids and stuff going on. I think this is just a random selection. You can see I rejected £40 million from Monaco at some point. Radmore's going out on loan. Let's look at the transfers in. That's where things get a little bit more exciting. So, as you can see here, 3 new signings made. I guess we'll go in ascending order of price, which is also chronological order. The first player we signed was Mark Nordmans. This guy, a Dutch forward, we signed him from PSV. £6.5 million paid for him. A pretty good price in my opinion. He's not a world-class player by any means, but I think for the price we've got him, he's going to be a good player kind of prospect-wise in the future, and certainly a player we can make some money off. Pretty happy to sign him. The next player we have is a pretty big transfer, £17.5 million paid for this guy, Secco Miete, I guess we'll go with. You can see he's Italian, 18 years old, 5-star potential, or 4-star potential, but 5 stars if you include the black stars. A very good player. He is currently at the club. He was on loan at Empoli, but didn't make an appearance because we signed him. He came straight to us. And at 18 years old, he looks like an absolutely fantastic prospect. Really, really good mentals, really, for a player of his age. Nice physicals, good pace, which I like. And he's fairly strong for a player who's only 18 and kind of your pacey centre attacking mid. And all in all, just a quite exciting prospect to have at the club. Anyway, the next player and the big transfer, really, perhaps a slightly odd one. I didn't end up signing a goalkeeper. Instead, I went for Stefan de Vrij, who you may notice I've put Vrij in brackets at the end of his name because I kind of decided I probably should pronounce this guy's names correctly because he's going to be at the club a while, and I kept forgetting how to say it, so I just set a nickname so I now have the phonetical pronunciation in his name. Eventually, I hope, I'll get used to his name and I can just remove that, but for now, it's going to be there. This guy, though, absolutely incredible centre-back, 26 years old. If we just do a quick comparison to Zuma to begin with, you can see that he's better than Zuma mentally and perhaps defensively slightly better, although Zuma's a little bit better rounded. But Zuma does really dominate the physicals. But if we compare him to Sakho, he's actually a quite nice upgrade, at least in my opinion. over Saka. You can see he's just better in pretty much every department. It's going to add some good competition, I think, in the defensive department. It gives us some nice coverage. And at £40 million for one of the best centre-backs in world football, I don't think it's too bad of a price. You can see last few years he's had some pretty good seasons with Lazio, easily averaged above a 7 rating. Last season got 7 man of the matches in 24 games. That's not too bad for a centre-back if you ask me. So I'm pretty happy to get this guy in. And at £40 million, it's not perhaps as much as I was worried we were going to have to spend. Looking at our finances, you can see we still have £35 million transfer budget and a little bit of wage budget free. At the moment, apparently we're set to fail financial fair play because we're spending too much on wages a week. This seems to change constantly. I'm not too worried about it just yet. If you don't know, basically every season you're only allowed to up your wage budget from a certain percentage on what it was the previous season. That's to basically ensure that teams don't start offering crazy money. And at the moment, we are barely over our total kind of allowed wage. But I'm not too worried about that, as I mentioned. That does include players' bonuses and such. So during the kind of month or so of the off-season, you're not paying those. So that's a significant, perhaps, chunk of that money that you're spending not there. Anyway, today we take on Chelsea. As I mentioned in the league, not a great start. We got 1 point from our first 2 games. Since then, we've bounced back with 2 wins. We've improved our goal difference a lot. We kept 2 clean sheets in our last 2 games. However, that result against Fenerbahce kind of leaves me a little bit nervous going into today's game. We are taking on Chelsea, who are in 9th place. Last year, I believe they finished 4th. They finished 3rd last year, so not a team to be scoffed at. We're going to have to really, perform well against them. Looking at their team here, interestingly, they reappointed Mourinho for a 3rd time in this save. He got sacked and then he came back this summer. Very odd. Can't see that happening in real life, but it's happened here. Looking at their team, they've actually kept a lot of their good players, considering they finished 5th 2 years in a row in, you can see here, 2016 and 2017. Their squad is very much kind of, surprising, I guess, the fact they've just managed to retain the service of a lot of their players. They've still got Courtois in goal, still got players at Aspilicueta, Eden Hazard stayed, Costa stayed, Oscar stayed, Cuadrado stayed. You kind of get the idea. So, we're going to have a tricky task here. We're going to have to play well. Looking at it here, Klein returning to full fitness imminently. That's not imminent enough for me. I'm going to move in Peruzzi, I think, to start today's game. Confidence and morale in the camp isn't the best. That is because of the rocky start we've had. Our players, I don't know, to lose kind of 2 games of our first 5, excluding the Community Shield, isn't too great, and it's taken a little bit of a knock on our players. All in all, though, I've got faith in these guys to turn it around. We've got Dybala, who's in some pretty good form, not feeling the pressure of his price tag too much with 4 goals in 6. If Sturridge could grab a few today, that would be fantastic. Looking at the team in general, though, we're in a good situation. We've got plenty of options on off the bench. We've got a really good kind of strong squad and quite a big squad at this point, which is very, very useful to have. So I'm pretty excited to see how we get on here. I'm actually going to drop, I think, Bazor and Henderson for this game. I'm going to bring in Thiago Maia. I think I'm also maybe going to bring in Tielemans. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring in Tielemans and then I'm going to move Coutinho to the box-to-box role, just because Coutinho is a little bit better rounded than Tielemans. I've clicked on Goetze there, but if we compare Coutinho and Tielemans, just real quick, you'll kind of see that Tielemans, he's just not quite as well rounded, which I kind of feel like you need a little bit more in that box-to-box midfielder role. Here he is. So yeah, you can see if we just get the polygon up. I don't know. Coutinho is just a little bit well-rounded, better rounded. Defensively, actually, they're fairly similar, but I think we're going to go with Coutinho for now in that box-to-box role. Squad in general, though, pretty happy with it. I want to issue a formal apology, which isn't actually sincere at all. I auto-assigned my squad numbers again this year. I know there's some people who are really, really anal about their squad numbers in Football Manager. Look away now, is all I'm going to say. Sorry, not sorry. Let's get into today's game. The numbers for me, they've just never bothered me. I always just hit auto-assign. I know for some people it's like the most important moment in any Football Manager save, giving the players their numbers. For me, I just don't see the point. I mean, Chelsea don't give a fuck either, looking at it here. Right, let's get into this. Get your squad predictions going in the chat. This is a big game for us. Of course, we already played Man City and lost. We actually have Arsenal fairly soon. That's going to be a really big game for us. That'll be next episode. So a good result here is going to be pretty important because Arsenal, Definitely going to be tougher opposition, I think, than Chelsea. I believe Arsenal are currently top. They were our big rivals last year in the league, and the year before that they, of course, won the Premier League. But anyway, we have a chance here maybe early on. 3 minutes in, Peruzzi out wide. Can he whip in a ball? Coutinho there. Aspilicueta, though, with the tackle, but headed away by Vray. To Maya now. Can we build a second attack? That is a lovely ball. Peruzzi, can he pull in the ball? He can't. Straight to Courtois. That was pretty disappointing. We had a nice chance there, although that's a weird rollout of the ball there. Maybe we can capitalise on that, or maybe Chelsea are about to build an incredible move from the back. Cuadrado going down the line. Can we stop the ball coming in? No, we can't. Costa with the shot. Mignolet with the save. Mignolet, a player who, as I mentioned last episode, might have been looking to replace, but I'll tell you what, he does pull out some pretty decent saves for us, and he's pulled out another good one there as Coutinho wins the ball. Just get rid of it, my son. I guess that will do. The highlight ended. I can only assume he dealt with the situation at hand. 10 minutes in, Chelsea with that first clear-cut chance, and now they're on the attack again, but headed away by Maya. Now can we break? Dybala running through on goal. Switches it to Peruzzi. Options in the middle now. Ball whipped in. Gertz is there. It's offside. I don't think Gertz is the player offside here. I don't want to rewind to check. I don't think Gertz is the man offside there. I think there's another man ahead of him. I might be completely wrong there, but to me, I think Sturridge was offside and Gertz wasn't. Maybe he was interfering with the keeper. Who knows? Answers on a postcard. 20 minutes in, we've had a disallowed goal. Looking at stats, Chelsea perhaps doing just that little bit better. In fact, they are doing better. I'm going to change our system. We're going to go to our 4-2-3-1, I do believe. Let's do it. How do I want to place? I think we're going to play Sturridge on the... We'll play Sturridge on the right just because Coutinho is better suited to play on the left, I think. I mean, there is a debate to say play like that. That probably makes the most sense to play Dybala as an advanced playmaker, which he can definitely play. Very well-rounded in that regard. I think we'll go with this. Not a massive change, really. Well, I guess it is quite a big change, but it's kind of a change which doesn't see us have to make any subs. We have quite a nice, adaptable front line in our team in terms of we're quite capable of changing our system, changing our shape. The players that we have at our disposal, you know, they play multiple positions, and hopefully we can now reap the rewards of that change. Either that or we're going to leave ourselves more exposed. Sacco with a nice header. Worth noting, Zuma not playing today. I've decided to rest him because of the international games that we had not too long ago and the fact we've had Champions League. I think this is our third game in 7 days. We've got that option now to rotate at the back, which is kind of nice. So for this game, decided to drop him. At the moment, perhaps regretting that, although it is still 0-0. Chelsea, though, with a hell of a lot of chances. Looking at the stats, they've been pretty darn dominant right now. And we're having to weather a storm, but that storm is being weathered. And Maya there, lovely tackle for him. Worth noting, Thiago Maya made his debut for Brazil in the last international break. So that was pretty pleasing. Coutinho now getting injured. Hopefully that's not a long-term one. We've had, I think it's fair to say, our fair share of injuries in this save. Not a massive fan of them, but we have to deal with them, I guess. We can't really choose when we get injuries. I'm going to switch to a inside forward setup here. Now we have Sturridge and Gabriel, and then we're going to play, I think we're going to play Dybala as a complete forward attack rather than as an advanced forward. Just allows him to get a little bit more involved in the play instead of really being stood on top of the last man like an advanced forward. So we'll go with that. Cuadrado with a bruised shin. I just made the change there and the game forgot about it. That's one thing. If anyone from SI is watching, it's been an issue for the last few years. But if a player gets an injury and you get notified about it and then I sub him off, please make it so the game doesn't just stop and tell me that I need to take off the player who's injured after I've just done it myself. Happens far too often. In reality, I should know, Jack, don't make any changes, just wait for the quick sub dialogue to come up, but I don't do it. And I live in regret, and we might live in regret here. Chelsea with a chance. Mignolet with the save. Anderson for them. Felipe Anderson cutting inside, but a tame finish to say the least. And this first half, been bloody awful. I'm going to tell the players I'm far from happy. They've reacted quite well to that, fired up. I'm not going to change, I don't think, anything just yet. Part of me wants to switch to have a defensive midfielder. Maybe a 4-1-2-3. I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to do it. This is what we're going to do. I think it just suits us a little bit better. A little bit more conservative away from home. Having Maya sit as that kind of centre defence in mid. It just gives us that extra bit of coverage, which at the moment we're kind of sacrificing in favour, I guess, of a centre attack in mid. But we'll see how we get on here. Looking at the stats, it's been all Chelsea still in this second half. We've not really done a lot all game, but we need to defend here. To be fair, when we've been defending, we've defended well. Now we have to defend well. Well, you can't defend against that. That is an absolute screamer by Felipe Anderson. A screamer and a half. I don't even want to watch it. I just want to make changes. Let's sort out this mess. We're going to go to 3 strikers. Because YOLO, people are going to want to see this goal, aren't they? Let's have a quick look. He hits it. Maybe I'm giving him a bit too much kind of credit there. I think Mignolet can do better. That's my opinion though. I'm probably completely wrong. I know nothing. Right. Let's go to a double poacher, complete forward masterpiece. Jack, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm just drawing a nice pretty pattern with our team. Let's go to a 4-3-3. Why not? Why the hell not? And then let's play at a centre mid on attack in Goetze and Tielemans as a deep line playmaker support. We're just drawing pretty patterns at this point. I'm also going to tell our fullbacks to go more attacking. We need to really mix up our game here. We need to go attacking. We're chasing that goal now. Let's try pumping the ball into the box as well. We'll play fairly narrow, close down more. Let's go for it. We've kind of just got to chuck men forward and see what we can do here. I'm going to switch to this 4-3-3. Hopefully we can do something with it. We need to change something here. We're getting dominated this game. My voice has suddenly gone funny too. I could clear my throat. That would involve coughing into my mic. So I'm going to spare you guys that and instead sound like I'm on the verge of death or something. We have 20 minutes to try and make something happen here. And so far this game, we've made absolutely nothing happen. Nothing. Right, let's make a change. Bazor. Come on for Goetze. Goetze's had a mare. We have one more change. Where do we want to make it? What do we want to do? I'm going to bring on Teixeira. I'm going to bring him on for Tielemans, who himself hasn't had the best game. Teixeira, not had a massive impact since he's came to the club. I don't think he started a game for us. Of course, he joined us on a Bosman this year. But we'll bring him on, see what he can do. 20 minutes left. I mean, we need a spark of inspiration. Maybe he's the man to do it. With that change, we do make all our subs. And we almost concede immediately. We still might concede. We need to defend here. Ball, edge of the area, Eden Hazard. We've only conceded 1 goal and it was a screamer. Maybe we can counter. Maybe we can FM a team. I've been FM'd a few times in this save in live comms. I remember the Europa League final against Spurs where they had 1 shot. I feel like I'm overdue kind of an FMing. I feel like I'm due like one of those unjust wins that you see in Football Manager. And in real football, I guess. In the real world. However, we are going to need to defend here as Felipe Anderson charges forward, whips it in, and I think Mignolet's just... oh, it's offside. It's offside. Panic over. I thought Mignolet had a mare, but the goal has been disallowed. I think Icardi actually got a flick on there, so it was offside. Not going to complain about that, although Mignolet, questionable coming out to meet that cross considering the attacker got there first. We're still being dominated looking at the stats. We don't have long left. Let's throw another man forward. I mean, why not? We need to go for it at this point. We can't really mess around. I guess we've got to try. We've got to try something different. Let's go fluid. Let's go overload. Screw it. Let's just go for it. Go route 1. There we go. I've got faith in you boys. We're going overload on route 1. Shit just got serious. We are now looking for that goal. We've got to go for it. There's not long left here. Time is slipping away. To not concede when we've changed our system as we have is a miracle. I'm actually looking at the stats. We've had a lot of shots since we made that change in the last 5 minutes. Unfortunately, though, not a goal. There is a minute left of this game. There might still be a chance. But we do need to get the ball forward, Mignolet. You know, there's no rush, mate. But if you could get the ball forward, that'd be great. Maya don't get sent off either. Matic, edge of the box. Icardi hits the post. He was offside again. That guy needs to learn his offside rules. There's now not long left at all. Time is slipping away. 10 seconds. Felipe Anderson just going to run the ball out. It's a Chelsea corner. That's game over. Another disappointing result. Another tough game though. I mean, it's worth emphasising how hard it is to go to Stamford Bridge and try and get a result. And the fact we're playing these games early, maybe it can play into our advantage. I remember the first season we had with Liverpool where we kind of struggled initially and then we kind of benefited, I guess, from some easier games in the middle. Looking at our upcoming fixtures, we've got Middlesbrough in the Capital One Cup, not a competition I'm going to be too worried about. We then have Sheffield Wednesday, Basel, and then we're away against Arsenal. I mean, we're going to have played basically the 3 toughest games of the year away against the top 4 teams who finished top 4 with us last year within kind of the first, how many games of the season? Within the first 7 games of the season. So it only gets easier from there. Hopefully we can go in a good run from that point. Maybe we can use that Arsenal result as a chance to galvanise ourselves. Looking at it, they actually have a positive 12 goal difference after 4 games. They've won on average 3-0 every game, or won by a 3-goal margin every game. That's going to be tricky for us. But anyway, that is going to wrap up everything from me, guys. Hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Not particularly memorable, but maybe we can, come back next time against Arsenal after that game. Now, I'm looking forward to a nice run of results. It's going to be nice to get under our belt. Also going to have the Champions League to shift our focus to following that game. Anyway, that wraps up everything from me. Thank you so much as always. If you've enjoyed the video, please do smash the like button. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.